So we're continuing Unit 8 for the Menucha of surnamed Dangor Moses Montefiore. We're up to page 7. So I promised a fun Yerushalmi. Says the Yerushalmi, Ketzad le'echol davar shedalko le'echol. En mechayvin oto le'echol lo pat she'ipsha, ולא כניבת ירק ולא תבשיל שנתקלקל צורתו, וכן הוא שביקש לאכול טרדין חיים או לחוס חיטין חיות, אין שומעים לו. So the wording here is very interesting. The choice of words is very interesting. מחייבים אותו לאכול implies that there could be situations in which we are mechayev someone to eat. We force someone to eat. Right? That's what that seems to imply. On the other end of the Gemara, hu shebikesh ein shom'in lo. We don't allow him to eat. Now, why is there a jump? Just read the cases in the Gemara Yerushalmi. Why does the Gemara start from in mechayvin oto le'echol and end with in shom'in lo? What's the difference in the first set of cases and the second set of cases? Right? Pache psha, rotting bread. Knivat yerek is the part of the vegetable that you cut off and no one eats. And tavshishin kalkel tzurato, that's starting to go off. Right? Radin chayim is uncooked, raw, what do you call it? Spinach, I think. No, it's not really spinach, something else. But for argument's sake, let's call it raw spinach. So it's actually something else. I forget what. Maybe it's, I'm not sure. I remember I saw somewhere that it's actually not spinach. But or lachutz chitin chayot, right, wheat that hasn't been processed, unprocessed wheat. So what's the difference in the first set of cases and the second? Well, this is what lo mechayvim and this is what in shomim. Okay, right? Do you have a chiyuv to eat and are you allowed to eat? What's the most basic difference on the most technical level? The set, this set as opposed to this set. What's the difference?
The bikesh le'echol is food that isn't ripe yet, or that isn't cooked or treated yet. It's like
treated, right? It hasn't been processed properly yet, right? Right, very good. Right, this is all food that was food, or has already lost its part in the food. Even the knivat yerek is right. I have onion peel, right? So I also peel part that is edible, but no one will bother eating it, right? Am I forced to eat that? So you say, no, you don't do that, right? Meaning I already cut off what I need. I'm done with it, right? So definitely the rotting bread or the stew that's going off, right? All those things were food or were part of food. Now they're no longer properly food. So you move on, right? So you don't have to eat it. As opposed to these things can still be salvaged, more than salvaged. The wheat has not been processed yet, right? That's why the wording here is different. The first question that comes up that the poskim want to deal with is, what do you mean by in mechayvin oto le'echol? Is there a chiyuv to eat per shvit? Does it sound like? This sounds like who? Which Rishon?
Ramban.
The Ramban, right, would say, there's a chiyuv to eat, at least a mitzvah, right? Let's see, I daf going to jump to Megillat Esther. I don't remember why it chose to bring Aruch HaShulchan first, but we'll get back to him after. אל תשתבש במה שאמר בגמרא ירושלמי בזה הפירוש על זאת המשנה, כיצד לאכול דבר שדרכו לאכול, אין מכוון אותו לאכול פלא פת שיבשה וכו'. כי נראה מכאן שדווקא אלו הדברים שנתקלקלו, אין מכוון אותו לאוכלם, אבל משהו מתוקן וטוב חייב לאכול. He says, this is the mistake. אל תשתבש. You'd be mistaken, interpret the Yerushalmi as saying that these things you don't have a mitzvah to eat, but other Shmita fruit you do have a mitzvah to eat. You'd be mistaken. No, this would be a mistake. מה שאמרו באלו שאין מחייבים אותו לאכול, משום מסלקא דעתך אמינא, חייב לאוכלם למען לא ייפסדו. שהתורה אומרה לאוכלה ולא להפסד. משמע לן שאינו חייב לאוכלם, מאחר שאינם ראויים לאכילה. אותם ראויים פשיטא כי אינו חייב גם כן לאוכלם, שהרי אין כאן חשש שהם ייפסדו מאחר שהם טובים. Right? Meaning, I think the best way of reading this Megillat Esther is as follows. I think the best framing for this is the Grip Perla's framing. I'll explain. What did the Grip Perla say? He said, if you pick the fruit, you have to eat it. Meaning, you're not allowed to waste the fruit. Why not? Because who let you pick it? Right? Who let you pick the fruit if you won't eat it? Because it says in the Torah, you're not allowed to pick unless you eat. So if I picked vegetables and I put them in my stew, and then the stew starts rotting, what do? Well, if I'm not going to do anything about it, it'll end up rotting. So maybe I have to eat it. Says the Yerushalmi, within reason, you don't have to worry about that. If you picked normally, you made a stew. Normally, you have the normal amount of Shabbos leftovers that you throw out on Tuesday. So you don't need to worry about it. So there? And therefore, right, that's why he says, you'd think, why is there a chiyuv? Not because of food. Not because there's a mitzvah to eat. Because then the Gemara would say, the Yerushalmi should have said, Adrabah, this proves the Rambam. Right? Dr. Berelowitz says what, right? They said immediately, the Ramban, right? So I think they said, right, the Ramban. If it says mechayvim, it sounds like there's a chiyuv, like the Ramban. It says, wait, the Ramban never said there's a chiyuv. Dafka, the Rambam is more machmir, right? I just want to, through this, I want to look at who's more machmir. The Ramban will say, we should be more machmir when you go to the store and you can either get Perot Shvit or not Perot Shvit. You should take Perot Shvit because it is a mitzvah to eat them. So in that sense, he's more machmir. But if I have leftovers, who would be more compelled to force feed yourself the leftovers? Not the Ramban. So you didn't do a mitzvah. Dafka the Rambam, who says that you an isur of lotik tzol, if you don't eat that fruit, Dafka the Rambam is more machmir. So when I say mechayvim, the lashon of have a chiyuv to eat, according to who there's there a chiyuv to eat, according to the Rambam, there's no chiyuv to eat. There's only a mitzvah to eat. The Rambam, there could be a situation which would be a chiyuv to eat. If you pick that fruit and it's going to go to waste, you have to eat it. Kamash melan shelo. But according to the Rambam, you'd be more machmir. That's what the Megillat Esther says. Back to the Aruch HaShulchan. Kavanah shelo nomar dehad amra Torah leochla zeu mitzvah tzeh של חיוב שאתה מחויב לאוכלם ואף על פי שאינו אוהב לחיכך. כמה שאינה מצווה להיתר לאוכלם. לכן אם לא אינם לחיכך לא תאכלם. The Aruch HaShulchan says no. The whole sugya, what's the Havamina, what's the Maskana of the Yerushalmi? So the way you guys read the Yerushalmi, which is the way I read the Yerushalmi too, I'm happy to admit, is why not? The Havamina was the chiyuv to eat perot shvit. Kamash melan, there's a ptor from Kamash. There isn't a chiyuv to. Before the Gemara said anything, we thought that there's a chiyuv to eat all perot shvit, right? After the Gemara says this sentence, what's my conclusion? There isn't a chiyuv to eat this fruit. No. There isn't a chiyuv to eat any perot shvit. See what he did there? Right. In mechavim to le'echol, you'd think, what's in mechavim to le'echol? I thought there is a chiyuv le'echol. And then we say, no, there isn't a chiyuv to eat what? Only this fruit. There's a chiyuv to eat all the other fruit. So no. There's no chiyuv to eat any perot shvit at all. And then the nafkamina would be, well, if I have a good pomegranate here that's perot shvit, so of course I'm going to eat it. Like, why is that? Of course, it's a mitzvah. Sorry, not a mitzvah, not a chiyuv, nothing. But of course you should eat. Like, don't go to waste. But there's no mitzvah, but Kamash Manan Yerushalmi, since there's no mitzvah, Mimela, there's no chiyuv to eat what won't be good for you. So there? And then you read the Yerushalmi exactly the other way around, right? We were thinking the issue is, maybe we thought the issue is there's a mitzvah or a chiyuv to eat everything except for these? Says our Aruch HaShulchan, no, there isn't a chiyuv to eat anything. Mashmalan sheina mitzvah at all. I did not mitzvah to eat rotten fruit. Mashmalan, now there's no mitzvah to eat any approach of eat. That's the Aruch HaShulchan. Next, the Chazon Ish. Sorry. Sorry, I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish, nireh asur le'echol pat she'ipsha. The Chazon Ish blows my mind because he turns the whole thing on its head. Asur le'echol pat she'ipsha b'chashiv hefsed. כיוון שראוי לבהמה אסור בהפסד. ועד לא אמר שאם בא לאכול אין שומעים לו כדאמר בטרדין חיים מפני שדיבור חכמים בהווה. Meaning, Chazon Ish says like this. I have bread. Is the bread? I mean, the bread has not yet turned into penicillin, right? If the bread turned into penicillin, there's no question you shouldn't be eating it stam, right? So what are we talking about? We're talking about bread that's rotting but still edible. All right. What should you do with that bread? What's the ideal use of that bread? The ideal use of that bread is to give it to the animals. So there's a mitzvah to give the bread to the animals. Now, okay, but look, I'm not a fine schmecker. I'm happy to eat this bread. We say, yeah, but who's going to let you eat the bread? But I don't let you eat the bread. You need to utilize the bread as best possible. And the best utilization of the bread is giving it to the animals, not giving it to you. That's why, so Chazon Ish really, the whole Yerushalmi should be read based on the end in Shomim Lo, meaning it's not that in Mechavim to le'echol pat she'ipsha, but you're tzaddik if you do. You're not allowed to eat that bread. All these things, all these things, you should be giving to your animals. You shouldn't be eating yourself. Mimela says the Chazon Ish, you're learning the sugya totally wrong. The sugya is not discussing with the chiyuv of eating the perot shvit, or the mitzvah of eating perot shvit, or the heter. It's the chiyuv of utilizing the fruit the best possible. The truth is, the Chazon Ish makes a lot of sense, and it's tough. Who am I to say? You're saying thanks.
Because the pasuk says, "Vayita lechayat haaretz leochla." Also.
Nachon. But I want to say more than that. I want to say beyond that. The context. The context. The Mishnah, the Gemara is brought on. I want to read the Mishnah to you guys. Now I realize I should bring the Mishnah and the Daf Mekorot. The Mishnah says, "Shvit nitna la'achila l'shtiya v'l'sicha, le'echol kol davar shedarko le'echol, lasuch davar shedarko lasuch, lo yasuch yain v'chometz, aval sachet hashemen." What's the Mishnah saying? The Mishnah is saying, you need to utilize your fruit as best possible. So it's true, on the one hand, shvi'it really can be utilized for eating, drinking, for different, it could be, right? You can have moisturizer, you can have other lotions, you can have whatever, out of utilized from perot shvi'it. But it has to be the best utilization. So the best utilization is something edible should be used for eating, and something that's best used as a lotion should be used as a lotion, etc. And then the Gemara says, the Yerushalmi says on this Mishnah, what's the question? What is again? The Mishnah says, we're going to do it like this. I'm sorry. We're going to do it like this. I'm trying. Sorry, we're going to try something. You see the Yerushalmi? You see the Yerushalmi? Checking the screen share worked. You see the Yerushalmi? Jonathan? Is the Yerushalmi on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. The Mishnah says, ask the Gemara on this. What's the question? The Mishnah is saying, meaning which should be used for eating, should be used for eating and not for lotion. Which should be used for lotion, should be used for lotions and not for eating, etc. That's the Mishnah. Says the Gemara. Is the question, what is the best mitzvah? What is the best mitzvah of eating the fruit? That's not the topic. The topic of the Mishnah is, what is the ideal utilization? So, what does it mean? It means that doesn't fit the directive of lechol. Meaning that's not the best utilization. What is the best utilization? Says Chazon Ish is giving it to your animals. Mimele, from the pshat of the Mishnah and the Gemara, that's the best. That's the most obvious. That's the simplest pshat. It's not just like a vort. He says, by the way, these things can also be eaten by animals, so use this, so you should utilize them better. The best pshat in the Gemara, if you want to read the Mishnah and immediately the Gemara, Davka, the best utilization is the discussion is the ideal utilization, and then you say, what is the ideal utilization of a bread that's rotting? You could eat it. It's better to give it to your animals. That's the ideal utilization. So that's. I just want to sum up. We have the Yerushalmi, 3 ways of reading the Yerushalmi. So, Yerushalmi is asking, says Chazon Ish, continuing the Mishnah. Mishnah said, meaning, what is the ideal utilization? Answer, when it comes to the vegetable peels, the best utilization of vegetable peels is giving it to your animals, not eating them yourself. That's Chazon Ish. Our Chashulchan says, the Havamina is you thought there's a mitzvah to eat all perot shvit, kamashmana, there's no mitzvah to eat any perot shvit. The Ramban will say there's a mitzvah to eat most perot shvit. The Ramban will say there's no mitzvah to eat any perot shvit. So our Chashulchan read it. And finally, as we started, the Megillat Esther says, sorry, my mind. Right, Megillat Esther says, you have to save yourself from the issur of picking the Shmita fruit and then not utilizing dwell. To save yourself from that issur, you might have to eat even root that's in the fruit that's rotting. Kamash melan, that no, you don't need to eat fruit that's rotting to save yourself from that issur.